I'm Jessica Byrne, and sorry, I'm a bit nervous. I have some social anxiety, and I work today, and I'm just focusing on bettering my anxiety and meditating more. So thanks.
Great, thank you. We just went live on YouTube for the people who are watching there and maybe some people who will watch the recording. So we're all gathering together to practice meditation, and we're taking a few minutes as people join in to for some of the people who are already here to just say hello and introduce themselves a little bit before we get into our meditation practice together. Okay, so who's next?
I think I'll go next. Hello, everybody. I'm Alex, almost turning 18 soon. I'm from Moldova. Things are a little bit chaotic in here, a lot of anxiety in the air, but I want to instill a practice of meditation and mindfulness in order to view the world from a more happy lens.
All right, thank you. That's wonderful. This is a good place to be for that, Alex. Anyone else comfortable to share?
I guess I may go next. My name is Sadie. I'm 21 years old, and I joined this for mainly to keep a peace of mind that I don't really have a grasp on, but that's why I'm attending these lessons, so I can stay calm in stressful situations.
Great, thank you. Hey there, Kane and Gary. Sarah, you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm 34 out here in California. I have been slacking on my meditation practice, and a lot of anger has been coming up lately. So I've just been trying to sit with it because it can be quite uncomfortable. But I'm looking forward to tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Treat to be here with you. Hey, anyone else? Hello, hello. Is anybody out there?
Hey everyone, my name is Manifa. I live in Canada. I'm really looking forward to tonight's meditation. I do have an injury, so I feel this session will really help me get into a more peaceful place and not focus on what's going on currently with myself.
Great, thank you. Anyone else? Okay, Fanny said that some people wrote a text comment. Not everybody can use their audio. Um, Fanny said, "Hi, as I have a disability due to a degenerative disease. I'm 30 years old, and it gives me a lot of anxiety and anger to be trapped in this body, but I'm trying meditation to help accept this situation." Thank you, Fanny. And Danielle is cool said, "My baby is crying, so I'm going to skip the introduction, unfortunately, but I'm very looking forward to this meditation with all of you." Well, Danielle, I'd love to hear your baby crying, but it's okay if you want to skip your introduction. No worries.
She actually seems to like you guys. I don't know. She stopped crying. I'm Danielle, by the way. Yeah.
Hello. Anyone else? So, just want to offer a deep bow to everyone who's here. I really feel, um, oh my goodness, so grateful for this opportunity and for this space. You know, it's really a special space where, kind of with an hour's notice, we can have this kind of gathering of sincere people on the path who want to um, be supported to practice meditation. And at least for me, and maybe some other people share this, but there is an intention to help others as well by showing up. And I know that for me, I'm very supported and energized when I see um, a lot of people gathering together to join in and practice together in this way. And something that's really important to emphasize in the path and in this practice, and something I've been getting a lot more um, kind of support with recently, is this experience of community and this experience of um, the spiritual practice and the meditation practice not being something that is separate from our relationships with other people, but that actually it can be the foundation of relationships with other people. Um, and that's a liberating um, way of being in community, that I recognize that I am seen by other people, and I recognize that other people see me, or in this case, that we're all kind of showing up here in the present moment together for a similar purpose, to meditate and to be present, to be in the here and now. There's a lot of freedom in that, knowing that our meditation practice and mindfulness, especially, can be relied upon in social situations, in relationship. And we're very social kind of beings. So, of course, there are a lot of guided meditations online. There are a lot of books on meditation. There are a lot of highly enlightened teachers that we can connect with and follow. But here we have this opportunity to be in community and to practice together. And that's really alive for me right now. There's a lot of energy that goes along with that, being together with other people and doing something. So, what are we doing anyway? Well, for anyone who's here now and hasn't left yet, you've been successful, because you've been successful to show up and to abandon, to show up and put down. So your expectation, your desire, your fear, your reliance on going from this place to that place, as you arrive here and you show up, and then you don't just go to another place or go to the fridge, there's a real success in that. There's a real freedom in that. But we have to know how to abandon our perception, our judgment, our idea of what this is going to be and what we're going to get out of this experience. Otherwise, you won't be able to show up for yourself. You won't be able to stay in this space of mindfulness. You can touch it for a moment. You can touch not relying on self-fixation or a story about yourself or a story about other people for a moment, but then you get back involved with it. You get stuck on it again. I was talking with a nun here at the temple, a senior nun, a Dharma teacher here at the temple earlier, and she was saying about how the monastic life and really the life of a spiritual practitioner is that we are swimming upstream. We are like the salmon swimming upstream. So we have to be prepared to do that moment by moment in our meditation practice, to swim upstream, to continue on the path in the face of our complicated thinking, in the face of our confusion, to rely on our mindfulness and our present moment breathing and our present moment seeing, our present moment hearing. And allow ourselves to sink into that present moment experiencing. Not to fall into a trance, but this spaciousness of relying on the seeing itself, the breathing itself, the hearing itself. Many Zen masters and teachers, they say that enlightenment is, I was just watching Thich Nhat Hanh, this enlightened teacher, basically, interview with Oprah, and Oprah asked him about, so what's the deal? How do you get enlightened? And Thich Nhat Hanh responded, enlightenment is always here. So, and Zen masters, they say like this, or great enlightened teachers in the Zen tradition, they say, the enlightened mind is not separate from the ordinary mind. So if we can say like that about enlightenment, how much more so can we say that about our meditation practice, the act of being aware itself, letting go itself, not relying on complicated thinking. It's right there. It's completely available to us. It's completely accessible to us. We don't need so much instruction to do it. Rather, certain kind of conditions need to come together for certain people, for that practice of letting go and abandoning to take place. And then it's so natural. There's so much ease to it. There's so much gentleness to it. And for most of us, and a lot of the time, we're going to be confused. And we're also going to fall into lower states, lower realms of experiencing where we are anxious or depressed, or we are locked into, kind of like a dog that's grabbed onto a bone. We are locked into some particular view about ourselves or someone else. And now we're, walking around with our jaw clenched on this bone of complicated thinking or self fixation. We have to know how to abandon, and we have to develop a relationship with abandoning and being uninvolved. Okay, putting down our reliance on complicated thinking. And this is quite suitable conditions to do that, especially being in community. Sure, we have a facilitator, they're a monk or whatever, but it's more that there's a clear intention here. And sharing that intention, we can feel safe and we can feel comfortable to abandon any reliance on someone or something or some time or some place, some particular kind of experience. So we can focus on our breathing. Okay, this is a powerful practice, but most of the time, a lot of the time, you won't be in the good conditions to do it. You won't have the conditions to practice meditation, even if you have the very good idea or the very clear idea. So you need to accept, you need to understand that making use of this time and times like this that will show up in your life is very essential. So when that space opens up, could just be a transitional period. You're going out the door, the temperature of the air is changing, or you're going to take a shower, take a bath, or you're waking up or you're going to sleep, or some experience, some situation is happening that's different from the situation that you were in, and you are aware of that. So what can you do? What should you do? What could you do? Well, you can rely on your breathing. You can come back to a meditation method. So the heart of meditation is this openness, okay, this spaciousness and um, this willingness to abandon and to put down. Okay, that's the heart of real meditation practice. This is what is going to allow you to apply any meditation method. This is what is going to allow you to, um, make skillful discernments about what is accurate, what is workable, and what is not. This is what is going to allow you to have a perspective about, oh, this thing feels good. Doing this feels good, but it's not good for me. And that we don't just need to constantly be stuck in a hamster wheel of going from towards pleasure and away from pain, and just see, oh, that's the way that life is, right? I'm chasing after pleasure, I'm avoiding pain. Sometimes it doesn't work out for me, but that there's a whole nother dimension to this life, that is the dimension of a spiritual life or the life of a practitioner, and that is to step back. You stop the wheel. You wait a minute. I'm a hamster in a wheel and I'm just running towards what I want and trying to get rid of what I don't want. You step out, step back, and become aware of what's happening right now. So now you're really in a position to get involved with being more skillful in how you take care of your mind and how you take care of your life. Now there is really an opportunity to switch up what you are doing, how you are acting, how you are seeing yourself, how you are seeing the world. how you are constantly in this certain kind of self-fixated attachment. About someone, someplace, sometime. Most people approach meditation, and most people approach the spiritual path, and most people approach, or a lot of people approach self-healing as, okay, I need to get something. I have a suffering, I have a pain, now I need to get something that's going to fix that. But actually, if we approach it like that, we're very limited in how involved we can get on the spiritual path. Extremely limited. It's not about getting something. It's about finding out and touching and connecting with what's already here. And we don't really know that much about what's actually here right now. We simply don't know so much about it. So we put ourselves in a place of stepping back from our self-identity and our reactivity, and we begin to look into this present moment experiencing and see what's here now, see what's available to us right now, and look closely at that. Now, this is a opportunity to practice contemplation and concentration and relaxation. Okay, so you can kind of train your mind, you can concentrate your mind, and you can relax your mind. But also, you're kind of checking in about what's actually going on right now. And you're not just subscribing to what someone else says or what you've believed in the past, or what you hope or what you don't hope. You're stepping back from all this, and yes, you can contemplate, concentrate, relax. You can get yourself into this deep peaceful state, and that's really important. But also, with this mind of questioning and curiosity, you can look into your present moment experiencing, right? And this is the present. Who am I? Well, it's something related to this. What's actually going on right now? What's really truly happening in my life and in my reality and in my world right now? Well, it's something related to this present moment experiencing, this body, this breath, this heart beating, the state of the mind as it is right now. And that's not separate from the past or the future or other people's positions or perceptions and all that. It's not separate from that. But we've given a lot of energy in our lives, I know I do, to my idea about myself as in relationship to other people's ideas about me and other people's ideas about the environment, etc., etc., etc. But I've given much less attention to this present moment experiencing and this quality of questioning, what's going on right now. So we're kind of activating our doubt. Okay, someone comes along and says, "Hey, I need you to go and work in the cobalt mines in in wherever those cobalt mines happen to be. I believe they're in Africa. It's really quite a bad thing going on over there, from what I understand. That's how we power all these lithium-ion batteries and stuff like that. So someone comes along, some big burly kind of agent comes along and says, hey, we need you down at those cobalt mines. Just come on, let's go. And you say, what are you talking? What's going on here? Who are you? And I'm not interested to go to any cobalt mine. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know who you are. So we step back. But there's a lot of things in our lives. There's a lot of cobalt, um, cobalt mining agents in our psyche and also in our environment that are coming along and saying, hey, I need you down to the cobalt mines. We're saying, of course. Well, no, it's not, of course. Get up, right? We need to, I can see Sila is out there in a beautiful nature with the fresh air and the green trees and, but if we just stay in our bed, when we have a suffering, when we have a difficulty, when we have a depression, when we make a mistake, right? When we get ourselves into one of those lower realms, well, sure, everything's going to work out. If you stay there long enough, your body is going to turn into soil, right? Your body is going to become, go back to the elements. But we don't just want to kind of let things work out or let things run their course. As much as we can, at least we want to develop a relationship with this in our lives. We want to get involved. Okay. And we especially want to know about getting involved when there are difficulties going on. When we are facing that anxiety, that depression, that complicated thinking, that cobalt miner who comes along and says, hey, it's time to get to work. Well, maybe not. Maybe it is, maybe not. And sometimes staying in bed is, saying, no, I'm not going to the cobalt mine. But sometimes getting out of bed is saying, no, I'm not staying in the cobalt mine, cobalt mine. I don't know what that is. So, but it's really a matter of how we get involved with primarily doing good deeds. Okay, so we need to primarily focus on being a good person, being generous, being skillful in our actions. And for me, that basically comes down to, we have these 5 precepts in Buddhism, but it really comes down to, for me, is that there are plenty of things in my life that are definitely pleasurable. They are definitely pleasurable, but they are not good for me. They take me to lower realms. They take me to states of suffering. They take me to states of weakness. They take me to states of conflict within myself and uncertainty. Okay. And wasting time and, needing low energy, being tired. So I recognize that those things are 100% pleasurable, great, but they're not the most skillful activities for me to do. And so I'm going to do them less and less. Not because they aren't pleasurable, but because I know in a deeper way that they are not supporting my freedom. And so that's, in some sense, that's the more passive side of not doing certain things. But on the other end, it's to, like for me, this is an example of that. With a good intention, a wholesome intention to facilitate a meditation experience and to be with other people in the path, to offer out and share out and to show up and to be here, to be here now as an act of generosity, as an act of love, as an act of doing good deeds. But for each one of us, we need to find that in our own lives. Okay, that doing good deeds. K-pop, Papa has to go. And there's so many ways that we can do it. Okay, we can be and so the big reason that meditation is at the core of the Buddhist path is that, well, what's a good deed, like a powerful good deed you can do at any place, at any time, with any person, in any situation? Well, you can meditate, you can be mindful. So that's why there's this big emphasis on meditation in Buddhism and meditation in general in the spiritual path, because it's a way that you can do good deeds more and more unconditionally. Okay, and this creates like a store. It's almost like it creates good deeds lead to good effects, but in the Buddhist society, the Asian society, they call it merit, and it's kind of like good luck. And so one of the ways that I understand this is like, if I find myself that I have a tough night, and I just do not take care of myself well, and maybe I watch too much media, or I get into a fight with someone, or I fall into like dark delusions, right? Negative thinking, and I just don't really take care of myself because, well, it's nighttime. I'm supposed to be in bed. I'm supposed to be in this like nocturnal state. So the mind gets away from me. Somehow I find that, even though for the past week or month or whatever, everything was kind of going my way and things were like neutral and there was no big difficulties in my life, that night when I have a tough time or I make a mistake or I hurt myself or I hurt someone else, somehow the next day difficulty comes knocking. Bad luck comes knocking on my door. What's going on in here? Time to pull your card. So it's like there are good effects from doing good deeds that are stored in us in a very deep way. And so the more that we do good deeds, the more that we do acts of generosity, the less we kind of fall prey to the afflictions and the negative states of mind, and also the negative things that happen in our environment, difficulties that happen in our environment. So especially as beginners, people who are getting started on the spiritual path and all that, you don't need to emphasize meditation like as the number one thing. Like, I need to know how to meditate. I need to know how to meditate. That's not really going to work. It's going to work if you have a lot of supporting conditions, like a lot of supporting conditions. Then it's going to work. For most people, it's kind of finding this perspective of taking a deep step back. So how can we deeply step back and find our breathing and kind of come home to this awareness itself, and like, whoa, there's something that's at the core of my life that is not really a story and is not really very complicated and is not in any way shallow. And I don't really understand it very much, but there's also like a simplicity to it and a balance and a groundedness to it. So to step back and feel that and experience that and be with that, and that takes a certain amount of maturation to sit and be with that for just for a few moments, any period of time. It's something like egolessness. Maybe it's not the most profound or special experience, but the ego, the self story, takes a back seat to this present moment experiencing and just being, just breathing and being aware, being in the present. And then from that place of being able to take a step back, it's not how do I get enlightened? How do I meditate all the time? How do I become, this different version of myself? I would say it's more, how can I be a good person? How can I be more good? How can I be more virtuous? And so something that I emphasize with that is being aware of my social entanglements, how I get into conflicts or complicated thinking, complicated emotional states with other people that I get wrapped up with. And it's very inflammatory to the self story. And then there's this perpetuation of a real true self and a real true story, and these other people involved as well. So that question, how can I be a good person, involves that stepping back, coming home to the present moment, and then offering out, sharing out. Even though there might be some expectation, we might want to get something in return, it's a offering out. We're still prioritizing that offering out, that generosity. So there is a way of living in the world that is not totally focused on someone or something or someplace or some time, but rather a way of doing good deeds more and more, prioritizing and empowering the intention to do good deeds. And that includes doing what you should do, doing more skillful activities. And this is like at the core of training the mind and dealing with our suffering. It's not just how do I force myself to meditate, it's how do I do what I should do a good deed. It can be going for a walk. And in a lot of cases, that's what it is. And the reason that it's so difficult is because it's an act of generosity. Now, you don't need to go for a walk. You don't need to do something in a particular way, but you should recognize that prioritization of doing good, of offering out, doing what you should do more and more. You'll be in an uncomprehendibly difficult and negative situation. So clearly you don't want to do that more and more. The same with unskillful sexual relationships or practices. The same with unskillful ways of speaking to yourself, especially to yourself, but also to other people. This kind of encompasses the 5 precepts. Don't steal, don't kill. Be careful, be very careful about your sexuality. Don't speak harshly or lie, and refrain from those intoxicants. So doing more skillful activities, doing less unskillful activities. And you don't need crystals to do any of this. You don't need a high level spiritual advisor or a mystical guru or a fortune teller or what have you. But you can also make use of those things if that's something that interests you. But it has to go along with this foundation of the prioritization of being a good person, of doing good deeds, of doing acts of generosity. And so one of the reasons that, maybe the primary reason that meditation or mindfulness is this source of joy and this source of happiness is because it's freedom. If we can be mindful, we can be free. Meditation has to be something that we can enjoy. So touching freedom, it's the most enjoyable thing. It's the most wonderful thing. And we develop a relationship with freedom. We develop a faith in freedom. But first, we have to develop a relationship with doubt. And doubt here, I kind of say it as a step back. How can you step back from your preconceived notions about someone else or yourself or some particular time or some particular place? Now. How can you do it now? I'm tired. I'm sleepy. My leg hurts. So it's not to abandon that. It's not to reject that. Okay. It's not to say that, your leg hurting or you being tired means you need to stay or in this call or not stay in this call or meditate or not meditate. But it's stepping back from those preconceived notions that relate to a generally unpleasant feeling or a neutral feeling or a tired feeling. Well, I feel tired, so I can't clean my room, and it's 9 p.m. So, of course, I don't clean rooms at 9 p.m. Well, step back from that. And then we consider, what could we do? And even more so, we look at what's actually happening right now before we react to it. The curiosity with the openness. Okay. And we don't prioritize meditation experiences either. Okay, so you were attached to Cheetos and Mountain Dew and pizza and video games, and now you're attached to a particular, you want this or you want that out of the present moment experience. Stop it. Abandon it. Go back to mindfulness. Go back to doubt. Oh, I want to know about this. I want to know about that. I want to have this experience. I want to change this part of myself. I want to make use of this tool. Yeah, you step back again. So there can be this feeling of uncertainty, this feeling of not knowing, this feeling of not understanding. Welcome to the club. Okay, welcome home. Because that questioning and that uncertainty, that's like your invitation to come home. Being mindful, being in the present moment is not so much about feeling uncertain or feeling off balance, but that questioning, that doubt, to step back from your thought, from your belief, from your idea. That's essential. It doesn't, and then, we think, well, this is a real idea. This is an important idea. Well, maybe it is, but maybe it isn't. And sometimes that's contextual, sometimes that's relative to the situation, but ultimately as well is relevant. And we can start to learn about what the ultimate is by developing that doubt in our constant reactivity and self-fixation. And we kind of harbor in, or we hone in, we get stuck on these ideas about social situations and people and this story and that story and right and wrong. So it's a joy to abandon all that. Who knows what's going to happen? Who are you when those positions are no longer relevant? We have a content consumption culture. YouTube wasn't enough. Now it's TikTok. 5-minute video, that's too much, right? Now we have a 5-second video and 30-second video. Cha, 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 cha. Again and again and again and again and again and again. So meditation is no TikTok, no YouTube, no fridge. You're never going to eat again. You're never going to sleep again. You're never going to do what you want again. You're never going to avoid what you don't want again. So it's a weird situation, but it's a very valuable and authentic situation to be in. Does anyone have a question? It's not really more complex than going for a walk with a good friend. Only this friend is not, talking about everything and, smoking and drinking, or, we're not on shrooms during this walk. You know, it's just a walk. It's just a breathing. It's just a seeing. It's just aware of the body right now. Can you notice a certain part of your body right now that was, is making some noise? Look at that. Give your attention to that. I mean, it's freedom from all of that self-fixation, from all of those complicated stories, from all of our worries, our anxieties, our fears. Like, wow, my ankle there's some kind of sensation there that's alive and fresh and relevant. Okay. Jahed Hossein, who's watching on YouTube, said, "Why mindfulness comes and goes, how to make it constant." In some sense, it is constant. You're just not aware of it. So maybe that's why it's not mindfulness. But to really make your mindfulness constant, you want to follow precepts. So follow ethical guidelines for living your life. You want to be involved in a lot of acts of generosity and a lot of doing good deeds. And the general stability that opens up in your mind, you use that for a deeper practice of meditation, or just to be more involved in meditation practice. And then over time, your mindfulness can be more constant. But we have to develop a relationship with mindfulness as something that is fundamental and that is important. That freedom is important. A lot of how I live my life, especially lived my life before becoming a monk, and a lot of people, is about trapping oneself, going into debt, making commitments, forming transactional relationships with other people. You do this, I'll do that. So no exchange, no transaction, and to be aware of what's happening right now. As if your entire life was on fire with what's happening right now. And that's what's going on. You just don't have a severe stomach ache. But you could at any moment, and then you're not going to be asking me about, why does mindfulness comes and goes? You're going to be aware of what's happening. Will you be mindful if you have a severe stomach ache? I think so. I'm not sure. I don't know what that would be. I feel like mindfulness is a glimpse into the truth. The truth doesn't come and go, but our created truths, our stories, our ideas, our beliefs, our afflictions come and go, but the truth doesn't come and go. So how to make mindfulness more constant is to more and more prioritize the relationship with mindfulness. That is, to more and more prioritize the relationship with truth rather than created truth. Okay. And this is, this is as deep as it gets. So it's a process, and it's a way of showing up to our life. It's a way of relating to ourselves. And so then it's a way of being a good person. It's a way of being gentle and patient and compassionate and soft and forgiving. And noticing our tendency to be these these animals of anger and greed and rage. I don't want to be a speciesist, but those tendencies that are very primal that we have in us to just, anger, greed, dark delusions, complicated thinking, non-practical thinking that we rely on all the time. So mindfulness is just like we're making a glimpse into the truth. And the more that we prioritize the truth over our created truth, our mindfulness will be more and more constant. Okay, why worry about other people? Because we are with other people. We are other people. Okay, I'm as much you as you are as me. We are dancing in the sun together. That's also the reality. So one of the rules of thumb I kind of use in my own life is I look at what I'm already prioritizing, like what I'm already giving a lot of attention to, and I recognize that I don't need to defend that, or I don't need to give more attention to that. So that view of me as an independent agent or a separate being, and you as a separate being, whether that's true or not, or like relevant or not, if sure, it's up for discussion, but most of the time I'm already giving my attention and my energy to that. Me as a separate self entity, other people as separate self entities. And so what I feel I should give more attention to, shed more light on, is interbeing, interconnectedness. Surely, as much as I am separate in any way from Catherine or Hazley or Anushka or Alex, I also I inter-are with them. So I know that my mindfulness and my awareness and like my presence, to be in the present moment, is also what they experience. Only their body's a little bit different. Maybe they have different kind of thoughts or a different mental state that might come and go, or they may be more or less aware of. But that mindfulness, that awareness itself, is completely shared. And for me, that's my true self. That's what I'm looking at. That's what I'm trusting in. Okay. Alex said, how can you be more compassionate towards other people, especially when those people are hurting you and you'd have to defend yourself to survive, like a physical fight, if you had no choice but to fight? Use Buddha Fu. Okay? Use the art, the Gung Fu of Buddha Fu. So, what is Buddha Fu? Well, it is to do your best, try to reduce the harm that you put on someone else, and as much as you can, take responsibility, do what you can do what you should do with the situation as it is right now. Try to get to a different environment, try to reach out to help. Do your best, do what you can do to deal with that situation. I don't know what I'm going to do if someone starts to fight me. But what I'm preparing, the way that I'm preparing for that is with my mindfulness and with my valuation that I give to patience and generosity and softness. having compassion for other people, the biggest thing for me is to recognize that they are not the person I imagine them to be. They're not even the person that they imagine themselves to be. They're not a real true person in a real true story. So for me, right, I don't know about what was happening 5 minutes ago in my body. I'm sure there could technically be a way to record that. Even 30 seconds ago, I don't know exactly what I was experiencing. So let alone what was actually going on in my body, but I don't even know what I was experiencing 30 seconds ago in the body, which I super ultimately identify with as myself in a lot of ways, a lot of practical ways, right? So how about other people? I'm getting this rigid idea of them as a character in a story and a way of living in a certain way. I have no idea about them. I don't really know about them in that way. Okay. So recognize that they're just a human like you are, and that they have a suffering, they have a difficulty. Okay. Whatever you attach to, that is going to be your confusion. That is going to be the sign that you hold up that says, I am a fool. I haven't quite gotten it yet. Okay. So we ask questions or we share about our own experience. And don't be shy to be a fool. I'm certainly very foolish a lot of the times. It's okay to be foolish. But when we share from our own experience, we're sharing in a human language. Okay? When we fixate on words like, Buddhism or Hinduism or Islam or Christianity, I'm guilty of this as well, right? When we fixate on these words or the God, right? Buddha, enlightenment, when we fixate on these words, we lose the human connection. I don't know. What do you mean by God? I have no idea, right? How could I? It's such this ultimate kind of personal, intimate idea. So what I emphasize and what I encourage other people to emphasize is to share about their experience, not about labels, not about complicated ideas. It doesn't matter if the complicated idea is real or true or false or important or not important. If the other person doesn't know what you're talking about, then that's it. Then you're not having a connection. Try to be generous with how you step back from a situation and are willing to be more contemplative and questioning towards it. So someone says something in a certain way, you don't necessarily know what they're talking about. So don't just fall into the trap of pretending to know what they're talking about. Don't fall into the trap of pretending to know who they are. I don't know who that person is, honestly. I have some experiences with them. I'm sure I have some perceptions about them. They have some perceptions about me, but I don't really know them in that way. And so how can I approach or deal with people that I don't know in that way? With a lot of generosity and a lot of patience and a lot of gentleness and kind of, they don't owe me anything. I don't owe them anything necessarily. So mindfulness and detachment. To be aware of the present moment experiencing and also this active willingness to let go. And then everything is a wonder, everything is a joy, everything is quite mystical and profound. And if we stay with that practice, if we deepen and develop more and more relationship with that practice, then we've got something to work with. And the sky's the limit. The amount of freedom we can have in this moment is limitless. But we put these limits on ourselves, and then we aren't even able to have a general sense of freedom, because we are relying on those things that entrap us. We are relying on those created truths all the time. So be generous with yourself to not rely on the created truth, the story that you tell yourself or the story that other people tell you. You know, if you're really doing stuff that you shouldn't do, don't worry. Hell is waiting for you. If you're really doing the stuff that you should do, don't get too excited, because whatever heaven comes along is going to be temporary. So emphasizing freedom. Okay. And we do that with our mindfulness and our willingness to let go of whatever created truth or whatever aspects of the created truth come up. Because there's this raw present moment experiencing, physical sensations or mental sensations, mental formations. And then there's this complicated, contrived, judgment based, value based, neurotic formula that we apply to all that, and then we just we fall into oblivion and we lose ourselves. So you might be walking around with a very sad face, being miserable, or you might be walking around with a very stupid happy face, very ignorant, causing a lot of problems for yourself and for other people. Neither of these should be aspired to. So we shouldn't aspire to what we already know. We shouldn't aspire to like being depressed and miserable and anxious and like we can't take care of ourselves, etc. But we also shouldn't aspire to this like privileged, wealthy, Bugatti, Gucci, everything's going my way and I eat at great restaurants and I have a big smile on my face. Well, do you know compassion? Do you know wisdom? Are you having healthy, wholesome, in-depth relationships with yourself and with the world that brings a sense of peace and joy and freedom and safety and calm? So it's not just to be, beautiful and young and have a smile on your face and, have name brand clothing or what have you. That's also, just a pile of shit. Okay. And that's also okay because, compost is really important. So, to say that this is all a big pile of, excrement is not bad, inherently bad, but it should give you some information about it being ultimately unsatisfactory. So even though compost is wonderful and can be very, very useful, it's not ultimately going to satisfy you, especially at the beginning. Okay, so we are going to we're going to step into singing some songs. All right, it's time to sing songs. Catherine, are you ready? You've got that nice headset and that microphone, so I'm ready to hear you sing some songs. All right, and Hazley and Anushka and Alex. All right. If your camera's on, then I expect to hear your singing voice as well. So let's pull up our songbook. I have shared it in the server before, so anyone who has that songbook in front of them, that's wonderful. But if you don't, I'm going to share the lyrics. Okay. And who on YouTube is ready to sing? I want to get some hands up on YouTube, and if you're going to sing along on Facebook as well, let me know. So these are the lyrics for the first song we're going to sing. I'm going to put them in here. A catatonic, you just send me a message on Discord and I'll make sure you have that songbook. But this is the song we're going to sing now, okay? And there's also hand motions for this music, for this song. So if you I'm going to put the lyrics first and then run through how we're going to do this. All right, there's the lyrics. And here are the lyrics. Great, you're Meister. It's going to be great. Okay. If you are watching on TikTok and you need the lyrics, please go to the YouTube channel, okay? Because that's the right place to watch this live stream. Okay. So the first time, if you already know this song, then you can sing along with me the first time or try to sing along. But if you don't know the song, then the first time just listen to the way the song is sung and follow along with the hand motions, and then we'll do it again, and people can sing along. Okay. And it's great if you can turn on your camera so we can see your hand motions, and that'll be really good. Okay. Let's listen to one sound of the bell before we start with singing, okay? Come home to our breathing and being here together in the present moment. Okay, let's sing, and first time you can follow along with the hand motions and listen to the rhythm, and then the second time we'll sing together. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. I am blooming as a flower. I am fresh as the dew. I am solid as a mountain. I am firm as the earth. I am free. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. I am water reflecting what is real, what is true. And I feel there is space deep inside of me. I am free, I am free, I am free. Okay, so this time we can try to sing along. So a couple of people, you can unmute your microphone if you're comfortable. And we try to enjoy singing along and hearing each other. It's kind of, we make a declaration, and we also can experience each other's joy and happiness when we hear each other singing. So don't be too shy, and let's give this a try. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. I am blooming as a flower. I am fresh as the dew. I am solid as a mountain. I am firm as the earth. I am free. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. I am water reflecting what is real, what is true. And I feel there is space deep inside of me. I am free, I am free, I am free. Okay, wonderful. Yeah. So let's sing another song. And this song is a little bit more snappy. We're going to do a little bit more of a snappy song, get a little more fun, a little bit more energy in here. And please be mindful to do your best to harmonize and to follow along. So if it's your first time singing, don't. A lot of times it's the people who want to make more noise that should be more quiet, and the people who want to be more quiet that should make more noise. That's generally a good rule of thumb, especially when asking questions. The people that are, I have something to ask, they probably, need to relax. And the people that are more shy or more, kind of self-conscious about their question, kind of a little bit extra encouragement to share. It's funny how things work that way, but it does seem to be the case. Yeah, so let's do a little bit of a fun song. All right, so this is a very sweet and very funny song. I don't know that I can do that one. I'm not fully skillful with certain songs. Okay, this is a good one. So this one's called That's How the Light Gets In. And this song has the teaching about how we kind of need to forget our perfect offering. and we need to forget our perfect conditions, and we need to forget like our ideal partner, our ideal teacher, our ideal friend, or our ideal version of ourselves, or the ideal, the perfect good deed, the perfect way to do something. We need to kind of forget that. Two reasons related to that. One is that don't let wanting to climb a mountain keep you from going for a walk. Right? Don't let wanting to go to the beach keep you from stepping outside for a little bit and enjoying the fresh air. But also, it speaks to those difficulties that we have inside of ourselves, right? Those cracks, those mistakes that we make. That's actually how the light gets in to those deeper parts of ourselves. So we can make use of everything that's available to us and have a gratitude for it, all right? And appreciate it. So, going to share these lyrics on YouTube. All right. So we've got the lyrics. Now we just need the Bhante to start singing. Okay. With this one, I think you can snap your fingers. So you can join me in snapping your fingers. Forget your perfect offering. Actually, this can be call and response. So you just respond, okay? Forget your perfect offering.
Forget your perfect offering.
Just ring the bells that still can ring.
Just ring the bells that still can ring.
There is a crack in everything.
There is a crack in everything.
That's how
That's how
the light
the light
gets in.
gets in.
That's how the light gets in.
That's how the light gets in.
That's right. So just a little bit more rhythm, to it, and call and response, and we'll do this together, okay? And you can snap your fingers to join in. All right? Here we go. Forget your perfect offering. Just ring the bells that still can ring. There is a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. 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 Wow, wonderful. So nice. If we're smiling, if we are mindful, then the song is doing exactly what it should do. Okay? Exactly. That's it. Okay. Yeah. So we'll leave the songs there for now. And we've been going for a little bit over an hour. So I think we'll transition now into a little bit of meditation. Okay. So everyone go ahead and adjust your posture a little bit and find a comfortable, stable position for your body. And you can stretch out a little bit if you need to. Make sure there's no painful areas. as we find that comfortable, stable position for our body. We can close our eyes if that feels like the right thing to do, a comfortable thing to do. Start to give your attention to the breathing. It can be helpful, especially at the beginning, to breathe deeply or breathe in kind of a rich way. Feel the richness of the breath. And allow yourself to become aware in the midst of whatever physical experiences might be going on or mental experiences might be going on right now. Allow yourself to become more and more vividly aware with each breath of the body just sitting here, breathing and aware. And if you feel very comfortable, you can also be aware of that. So you are aware of the fact, the matter of your body just sitting here, breathing and being aware. At any time in meditation, and these times certainly will arise when we encounter complicated thinking or confusion or difficulty or anything that we grab onto, like a dog grabbing onto a bone, just come back to your breathing. And breathe in such a way that captures your interest, but also soothes you, relaxes you, and keeps you here in the now. So as we hear the sound of the bell, allow it to fully invite this wholehearted practice of just sitting here, breathing and being aware. And if you can't sit, just breathe. If you can't just breathe, then just be aware. If you can't just breathe and be aware, then just sit. But allow yourself this just. And everything that we add on to that, the just sitting, the just breathing, the just being aware, let that be a joy. Let that be a gift that you offer to yourself. So let's listen to the sound of the bell and be invited to practice together. So I like to thank everyone for being here and joining on, of course, such short notice for this community meditation practice. I hope that this session has in some way informed and encouraged you to make meditation a more constant and reliable part of your life. And please don't be a stranger. Feel free to reach out and to be a part of this community, ask questions, share what's going on, and let's continue on this path together, even with all the bumps and difficulties and confusions. Let's keep coming back to our mindfulness and our happiness, our joy, and especially our willingness to be with that difficulty in a way that isn't just to, to kind of wait it out or give up, but that we can face that difficulty with our mindfulness and with our willingness to transform it. Okay, thank you all so much for being here. It's great to see everyone. Take care, be happy. Welcome, Catherine. You too.